So there's an old showbiz quote that is used as the punchline in this kind of 9-minute episode of season 1 of the new Twilight Zone. Comedy is easy, but dying is hard, which brings the whole concept of the what I call the blackout. It's almost a blackout into what I call focus. We're going to talk about a 8-minute or so episode of the Twilight Zone. I'm going to try to make this podcast the same length as the video, so you can play it in the background just to hear my boring voice. Now, it's called A Small Talent for War. Now, it's the second segment of the 15th episode of the first season of TZ. In this one, an advanced alien race claims to have created human beings and proposes to wipe them out unless they change their ways. Now, the scene is set with the United Nations Security Council bickering between nations over how to respond to the appearance of an extraterrestrial vessel near the council building, sort of like the day the Earth stood still, but in a more, cruel fate. Now, an ambassador from an alien race that appears to them, played by the great John Glover, and claims that his race seeded life on Earth millions of years earlier. He tells them that his race is displeased with humanity's small talent for war, as they have failed to produce the potential that the aliens had nurtured, and his fleet will destroy all life on Earth. The Security Council pleads for and is granted a 24-hour reprieve to prove humanity's worth. Now, the Security Council and the General Assembly negotiate an accord for lasting global peace and present it to the alien ambassador. Now, the peace accord is page upon page upon page. How in the hell do you put it together in 24 hours, we don't know. He is amused by the peace accord and explains that his race was, in fact, seeking a greater talent for war, as they had genetically seeded thousands of planets to breed warriors to fight for them across the galaxy. They perceive humanity's conflicts as erratic and clumsy, weapons as crude and primitive, and longing for peace as a fatal flaw. As the ambassador calls down his fleet to destroy Earth, he praises the Security Council for the amusing day, saying that while war is their goal, good humor is even more difficult talent. The master using again the Edmund Gwen comment, which has changed over the years. So why is the small talent of war so effective, and some of the longer segments can't really hold it together? Well, in this one, everybody that's being asked to play their part does a great job. Now, the special effects on this, the alien ships outside the building, is kind of, early, late 80s, early 90s. But how John Glover is lit, sort of like an omnipresent hologram. But if he is a hologram and is not beamed up, how can he go through the book? Now, written by Alan Burnett and Carter Schultz, directed by Claudia Weil, which probably is one of the best Twilight Zone episodes ever directed by the woman. Now, she was the big director who did Girlfriends, which won multiple awards at Cannes. Now, she eventually did some interesting movies, including It's My Turn, and TV movies, Johnny Bull, Giving Up the Ghost, Face of a Stranger, Child Lost Forever, and Critical Choices. And, I think she was a contract worker with CBS. But John Glover, my God, what a performance by the alien bastard. You should have gave him a name like, Freak Out or something like that. He's best known, of course, for playing Lionel Luthor in Smallville, and, of course, the Riddler in the DC animated universe, and, of course, the weird performance in Gremlins 2. Now, Peter Michael Getz as the American diplomat, a very underrated character actor. Stefan Giedershosh as a Soviet diplomat, with Fran Bennett as the UN chairman. Now, there's a lot of parallels with this and To Serve Man, because it's the kind of the bang at the end. To Serve Man, up until the last 2 or 3 minutes, you really don't know what's going on. Why is he going back to the alien planet? Why is he basically by himself in the room? And it's kind of a flashback. Now, how it works with this, it's sort of like you have to live through the Cold War to know the plot. You're talking 1985-86 in North America, where we're coming to the end of the Cold War. Russia was going to break down 3 years later. But there was some speculation, alien speculation was going around, that there was, aliens were controlling most of the fact that we're not having nuclear war. We came very close to nuclear war in the early to mid 60s into the 70s after the Iranian hostage crisis. is I still don't understand why that we didn't blow each other up. But the kind of parody was the alien was basically saying, you pretend you're tough and you pretend you're this, you pretend you're that, but we seeded you here to be warriors and you're very disappointing. So for them to seek out peace, and when he says the line, deep down you want peace more than a war, that's not going to be a big warrior, because there have been different science fiction speculation through the years. How aliens have seeded, this is like a conspiracy, aliens have seeded different planets with human-like or human people to basically fight their battles, while they stay home and do what aliens on another planet do. Now, you got to understand, I look at certain scenes in here, the cinematography. Early versions of Star Trek: The Next Generation are very, very paralleled. But again, if you look at it, look at the good acting. There was about several hundred background actors to make it work. So I think it was first proposed for a longer segment, and I think it was maybe written on the spot how we're going to end this. And you got a good actor like John Glover, a little bit quirky, a little bit different, and it makes it works. But it's like, how would the alien know about that line saying, that's how he ended? He said, Gwen said, dying is easy, comedy is hard. Why would the alien know about that line? Are they recording key lines in human history? Like I have not just begun to fight, or quotes from the Rocky movie or quotes from Groucho Marx. There's a lot of empty questions. Why the aliens would only kill them now if they knew they were doing bad because they survived nuclear weapons from the 40s? How come they're showing up now? Like I said, but it's a fun segment. But I think what they were doing, ladies and gentlemen, they were going in Night Gallery approach. There was no B-roll for this episode. But what happened with Night Gallery, when its syndication, was a lot of B-roll. If this was old Night Gallery half-hour episodes or whatever, they would have probably added some superfluous, showing an alien on a ship or communication or maybe some side. There's not 1 second of this episode that is wasted. And like I said, I go back to it every once in a while because the aspects of the Sir Band. See, a lot of the new Twilight Zone, there was first cousins to certain episodes of the old Twilight Zone, like the redid Night of the Meek, they redid the After Hours, they redid a game of pool. Like I said, we're running out of ideas, but it works. I give it 4 stars out of 5. The only negative is there's no black actors really in the episode, and that's kind of stupid because the United Nations had a lot of black representatives, so that's plot holes, but it's Twilight Zone, So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here, we're a new series on the new Twilight Zone. We're going to follow a few, especially the opening first episode was quite strong with Shattered Day, and of course the Melinda Dillon, time frozen episode. Don't want to give it too much away. Let us know what a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.